I'm Dr. Hassan Habib. I'm a transportation planner. I teach transportation planning courses. I'm an urban and regional planner by training in my bachelor and undergrad, and I have received my PhD degree from the Civil Engineering Department, University of Toronto. Transportation research program is evolving in DAL. Particularly, I have established a transportation research unit, a transportation lab funded by Canada Foundation for Innovation Leadership Opportunities Grant. So we have a 500 square feet of a lab space. Transportation in various ways influence our land use decisions. Where to build a highway, where to build a crosswalk, how to design an intersection, all have significance in how we move around, where we live, where we work, where we play. So transportation, in my opinion, is the most critical and vital link in our urban systems.
My name is Austin French. I've worked as a professional planner for more than 30 years. Prior to retiring recently, my job was a manager of planning in HRM. My most recent task was overseeing the schedule review of the HRM's 25-year regional plan. Creating a collectively held framework is the main reason we plan regions and communities. It gives the mayor and council and other leaders a roadmap to reach out to citizens, energize departments, and mobilize partners so they can become engaged in realizing the vision for the community.
I'm Patricia Emmanuel. I'm the director of the School of Planning. I joined the School of Planning at Dalhousie University in 2001, having taught previously at the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design in the Environmental Planning program. I studied as a geographer. I trained as a geographer, physical geography primarily, and it was through geography that I became interested in environmental science, environmental studies, and especially the application of geography and environmental principles to planning. People are a part of the landscape. It's the physical and sensory reality of environment for people.
Hi, I'm Eric Rapoport. After I did my master's, I did a PhD at the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm, Sweden, where also I did my master's. And I worked on transportation and air quality issues. One of the specializations I have is I teach geographical information systems, or Plan 2006 space, place, and GIS. So I spend a lot of time working with a technology that has to do with mapping and analysis, spatial analysis of places.
So my name is Jennifer Strang, and I'm a GIS analyst here at the Killam. And it's my job to help teach people how to solve spatial questions. So sometimes this involves helping them create a map, sometimes it involves analysis. It's a little bit of everything, so yeah. The Gis Center is now located on the 5th floor of the Killam Library. The nice part about this space is we now have computer workstations that people can actually work in this space, and if they have questions or problems, we're close. Somebody's usually close at hand to help them out with that.
My name is Dave. I'm a faculty member in the School of Planning at Dalhousie University. I come with both practical and academic experience. I used to work as a planner at the regional and local levels of government, and I also studied planning as an undergrad and my PhD. So my research is on evaluation and planning, and what I really look at is how we can make better plans. So how do we assess the quality of a plan? How do we even define a good quality plan from a bad quality plan? And how can we evaluate the outcomes of those plans?
Let's see, my background in planning is from University of British Columbia at the School of Community Regional Planning, or there, SCARP as we call it, so I'm a SCARPie. We call her SCARP alumni. That's what they call us. Yeah. So my research kind of crosses, I would say, two main areas. So housing and transportation are the two main areas, and then within that, there's a lot of scope for kind of a lot of different. If you think about housing, there's everything from affordable housing to the design of housing to it's quite a broad area, and the same goes for transportation. So, for example, my PhD work was on the housing and transportation choices of immigrants in Toronto. I looked at the Filipino community, and then my work in Amsterdam was looking at transit-oriented development and how different city regions around the world have integrated that and how they've implemented TOD.
My name is John Zook. I'm a planner. I'm a landscape architect. I have training in both disciplines. My planning degree was from Nova Scotia College of Art and Design and environmental planning. I worked as a planner for several years after graduating, and then I decided to go back to school to do graduate studies, and they were in landscape architecture.
I'm Kate Thompson, and I am the undergraduate advisor here at the School of Planning, and I'm also a sessional instructor, and I've been teaching here for about 10 years. Well, I help students with planning their program. I give them guidance on the appropriate courses to take, the right scheduling. If they have issues with anything, I'll direct them towards resources at other places in the university. Sometimes just to talk. Sometimes students just want to come in and talk about where they're going with their career, what they're thinking about in terms of a focus for their degree, the right core electives to take, any one of a number of things that students have questions about or want to share.
So I'm Tamara Adler. I'm the Administrative Secretary here in the School of Planning. I provide administrative support to the Director and Graduate Coordinator, Patricia Emmanuel, also to the Undergraduate Coordinator, Kate Thompson, to faculty and students. If you're looking to contact me, and a lot of you will by email, interesting to note that my email address is first initial, last name @dal.ca. So yeah, stop by and get a business card if you're a little confused about that.
My name is Mikiko Terashima. My academic background is that I have done international development planning at UBC for my master's degree, and after working in the development field a little bit, I realized that I would like to go into a little bit of a specialized area, and I chose health. So I'm part health scientist. I did social and spatial epidemiology for my PhD and came back to planning to merge the two. Having studied health, I really thought strongly that in order to really influence the way we live and be happy, be healthy, be mentally healthy, really we have to change the built environment.
My name is Frank Palermo. I'm a professor in the School of Planning, Faculty of Architecture at Dal. My background is in architecture, planning, and urban design. There are two ventures that I'm involved with. One is the Cities and Environment Unit, which is a community outreach research unit within the Faculty of Architecture and Planning. The other thing I'm involved with is something called the Planning and Design Center. That group is really interested in connecting people to planning and planning to people. So the idea is that planning should become much more of a common word, a common field that's really understood by people in terms of what it is that planning is doing, so that everybody's kind of aware of it, understands it, and can participate in it.
It's a very difficult discipline to even define.
We have to work with a multidisciplinary team, with architects, with transportation planners, with engineers, with infrastructure engineers, with landscape architects. And planners is in a way the glue to that team.
I think the key thing that planners really bring to it is that kind of ability to kind of bridge the different disciplines and be able to understand what they're talking about, be able to synthesize that information, and then bring it back to whoever, to the public or to decision makers, to try to, get at what is actually happening here and how can we make the decision that's in the public interest.
It is all about engaging, creating a common or collective view of a potential future for a community, and through that engagement you learn a great deal.
That has to do with working with people to decide to first understand their current situation, then to think about where we would like to be, to envision a more desirable future.
And then determining and deciding what the very next step is. What do we do now? What can we do immediately to move in that direction?
Those outcomes then affect not just you and I, but can affect children through next generation. So where we put buildings, roads, they will be there for maybe 50 to 100 years going into the future. So what we decide today has an impact beyond generations.
But the challenges and problems that you face aren't easy challenges and problems. So you're planning for population, you're applying for affordable housing. How do you balance the needs of people? How do you balance political will with the needs of a community? So those types of things make it challenging and interesting.
A lot of differences in values, differences in culture. So it's a very kind of a simple general way of describing what planning is, but it encompasses a whole lot of things and a whole lot of complex problems.
It's something that everybody thinks about and affects everybody's lives. Like when you take the bus in the morning, how your subdivision is divided, all of these things involve planning.
So planning is really important for making sure that we use our space wisely and that we do it so that we perpetuate that good use over time. And you could see many examples in the world where that has worked and examples where it hasn't worked.
Cities everywhere, urban areas and rural areas as well, are in a position at a moment of great change right now. And I think that's why planning is important, because planning is about how should it change. You shouldn't be afraid to ask some really basic questions about what planning is and why we exist and where it is that we're going. And it's better to ask those questions than to kind of keep them to yourself. And just, please enjoy your time here and work with us, on this great adventure of actually making better cities, regions, rural areas, small communities, which is, a lifetime pursuit. So welcome.